People often look and sigh, hoping that they are the ones born with a golden key in their mouth, or the ones born in Rome. As the saying goes, things are unpredictable, existence is suffering, and living is like hell. The tornado of fate comes when it wants to, and with one careless move, it blows you to Rome, knocking out your golden key teeth, and having your inheritance seized by your closest kin. The ruler of the state of Qin, Qin Xianggong, loved to compose poems and was lucky enough to encounter a tornado. At the age of 10, his own grandfather, Qin Linggong, passed away, and the position of ruler was first snatched away by his uncle, and then inherited by his 2-year-old cousin. At that time, as the crown prince, Yin Shixi, worried that the little grandfather would do himself, fled to Wei overnight. This escape was 29 years. During the Wei state seizure, Wei state valued the identity of Yin Shixi, which had great use value, and Wei Wuhou, the monarch of Wei state, and Gong Zhi also took care of him a lot. Just to cultivate a pro-Wei Qin state monarch, Yin Shixi saw his cousin's mother gain power. Qin state's family was wiped out, but Wei state was booming. Yin Shixi secretly planned for a year, and joined hands with Qin state to change the numbers. In 385 BC, he regained the throne of the country. Yin Shixi promised that Wei Wuhou would not be an enemy of Wei kingdom even if he was reborn. Looking at the impoverished Qin kingdom, Yin Shixi deeply knew that Wei kingdom was the greatest potential danger. However, he focused on governing and striving for excellence, being frugal for 18 years. Finally, the treasury that had been empty for so long began to recover. In 370 BC, Wei Wuhou closed the market, and within 6 years, Yin Shixi wielded his sword against Wei kingdom 3 times. What he didn't expect was that the third battle would be his last battle in life. Wei kingdom, led by Gong Xiu, the commander under the city, had an army of over 200,000 soldiers. They confronted the Qin army in a decisive battle that would determine the fate of the two countries. This sudden outbreak of war would decide the destiny of both Qin and Wei. The Wei kingdom's green and red armor is divided into 2 formations, iron-armored infantry and cavalry. The commander-in-chief is the Wei kingdom's prime minister, Gong Xiu. Under the black horse's back, a dark mask can be seen. Behind the cavalry in black armor, there is a group of infantry dressed in plain clothes, with yellow and thin faces. It is more accurate to say that they are a group of ordinary peasants. They range from 10-year-old children to elderly people in their 70s or 80s. The weapons in their hands are also different, but they are extremely crude. Looking at the armed Wei kingdom army, their eyes are fierce and their killing intent is spreading. With the Wei kingdom's armored phalanx advancing, Duke Xiao of Qin did not hesitate to launch the charge first, aiming to disperse the Wei Wu tribe's cavalry in one fell swoop. The Wei Wu tribe was one of the 5 wonders and 10 choices, defeated by Wu Qi. Wu Qi led the Wei Wu tribe to fight a total of 72 battles, winning 64, drawing 8, and the Wei Wu tribe was also the most elite army in the early Warring States period. Qin Jiangmo's legitimate son wins food while his illegitimate son wins money. Leading the way, he charges straight into the Wei Wu clan's iron-armored formation, with people falling off their horses one after another but none of them retreating. They couldn't even break through the Wei Wu clan once. Once they engage in battle, the Qin soldiers will turn into flesh and mud. The people of Qin are not afraid of death and forcefully tear apart the Wei Wu clan. The two sides quickly engage in a fierce battle. The Qin infantry formation seizes the opportunity and shouts as they rush from the mountaintop towards the depths of the battlefield. Only to see a child of about 10 years old, not inferior to the veteran soldiers in terms of sweat and perseverance, not taking a single step back. This is a true portrayal of the fearless people of Qin, the ancient cold Qin emperor. The fierce battle of the day quickly ended, with black crows flying all over the sky. Countless souls were buried in the wilderness. The Wei kingdom came to clean up the battlefield. Only to see a young man in white clothes appearing, completely out of place with everything around him. He occasionally performed a set of eye-catching moves for the Qin soldiers who died with their eyes wide open, as if their souls had returned to the underworld. He discovered that every Qin soldier was facing upwards, with fatal wounds concentrated in their chests. He quickly took off the weapons and arrows from the Qin soldiers, carefully examined the arrowheads, and his heart tightened. He took out a bamboo stick he carried with him and wrote down 4 words, "Fear the Qin people who eat grass." Just at this moment, General Gong Xiu of the Wei army arrived in a hurry. After a conversation, it was revealed that the man in white was named Wei Yang, who would later become famous as Shang Yang. Currently, he is only a low-ranking official and also a student of Gong Xiu. Gong Xiu asked Wei Yang what he had discovered, and Wei Yang sighed and said, "Save the martyr. It's inevitable that heaven and earth will be in chaos. This guy is suspected of being a traitor." Without hesitation, Gong Xiu warned Wei Yang that if he wanted to survive in the Wei kingdom, he should speak from the heart and not just think about personal gain. Before Wei Yang could express his loyalty, a trumpet sounded within the government office. It turned out to be a high-ranking general discussing the situation of the war. Gong Xiu directly gave Wei Yang the cold shoulder. On the other hand, Qin Jiangong was deeply worried. The Qin army had reached a dead end. Previously, the Qin army had survived by eating grass, but without provisions, they could only retreat. While waiting for provisions on the hilltop at night, Jing Shizi ran over and reported that the weapons had been repaired and the horses had been properly arranged. Then he said, "Everyone is waiting to eat and sleep." Qin Jiangong was speechless for a long time before finally uttering a single word. "The big sun in my heart curses him for having a big head and a small brain. Wherever the old man hurts, you stab him there." In the face of danger, he pats his chest and assures that the grain and forage will not be delayed. Qin Jiangwo is stabbed again, and I can't guarantee that you, a fool, in the national army, won't open your eyes and talk big. Just at this moment, a sentry comes to report that the grain and forage from Liang has arrived. Qin Jiangwo sweeps away his previous worries and no longer cares about the brainlessness of the person in front of him. With a wave of his hand, he lets his brothers distribute the grain at the mountain pass. When Qin Jiangwo goes to check the grain, he finds that the Liang order has been carried here by someone. The person in front of him quickly asks for the reason, and the cleverness in the Liang order immediately rolls off the lampstand and falls to the ground, then kneels down, gasping for breath, indicating that the land defense forces have intercepted the grain transport team. Although injured, he ensures that not a single grain is lost among the 4,000 bullets and forage. Ing Qian and Qin Jiangong were furious. They ignored the serious injury of Liang Ling and questioned why the promised grain and grass of 8,000 troops were missing half. Liang Ling helplessly explained that it was difficult to obtain military supplies. Qin Jiangong, who was determined to fight, did not wait for Liang Ling's explanation and directly ordered military law to be enforced. At this moment, Ing Qian's cavalry arrived on fast horses and shouted that Liang Ling should not be killed, revealing that he had voluntarily changed the method of collecting grain and wood. Qin Jiangong's anger reached its peak as he faced the oppression of his eldest son and the insubordination of his youngest son, who acted on his own without following orders. It seemed that they were trying to trap him on the battlefield and cause his own demise. When he didn't want to hear any explanation, the soldier came with the news that Liang Ling was dead without execution, and he went to the grain Wenyan and ran to Liang Ling. It turned out that Liang Ling was starving to death. He would rather starve to the death to protect the food, than eat the military food privately, and brought a blood book. Knowing that there was no food to fight for, he threw the body of Liang Ling in front of Qin Jiangong, and explained the reason. Qin Jiangong knew that he had misunderstood Liang Ling and Ing Liang, dismounted and drew his sword to cut a bag of grain, took out a handful of white rice and sprinkled it on Liang Ling's chest. Liang Ling should be a masterpiece, and he was buried in front of the king. Qin state has no food to fight for. Wei Yang suspects that Qin state is in a desperate situation but was let go by a traitor. Who is this traitor? Stay tuned for the next episode to find out more details.